Well, so welcome back to Quick Shift Motorcycle TV. We're going to have a quick look at the brand spanking new 2021 Sinnis Outlaws. We've got two versions of the model here. We've got the satin black and we've got the yellow and black with the white line. As you can see, this is very XJ1300 Yamaha paint job. These bikes, as Chinese motorcycles go, are definitely in the top of their range. If I was recommending someone to buy a Chinese motorcycle because they wanted a lot of bike for not a lot of money, I would recommend a Sinnis. They seem to be the most reliable, and they're trying to make their build quality somewhere close to the other competitors in the market. This bike here on the road is about 2,600 to 2,800 pounds, whereas the Japanese equivalent would be somewhere near £4,500. When you start to look at the bike and you get quite close to it, they've done some really nice stuff to it. They've put in some really nice little touches. So you look at the front of the dash. The front of the dash is quite Harley Davidson in the respect that it's got no controls up here. There's no buttons. It's one clock with all your stuff on there. They've done a nice little job. There are a few letdowns on the motorcycle, but we can expect that. Again, you're paying £2,600 for what in Japan, a Japanese bike, or another equivalent would be somewhere around £4,000. Silly little things like they're letting themselves down on their finish. I would urge Sinnis to concentrate a little bit more on their finishes, on their brake and clutch levers. It would add so much to their motorcycles if they did it, okay? So, the Outlaw. I'm a 6'3" guy, 191 centimetres in metric. Okay, is this a comfortable bike for me to ride? Well, I've actually had a little go on the black Sinnis there, and although I'm quite a large guy, and height-wise, when I sit here like this, I don't feel like my knees are around my ears. The tank is comfortable. It's got no funny divots, silly little divots in it, so my knees sit comfortably against the tank. I can sit nice and comfortably with my foot flat on the floor. And that goes for anyone who's only 5'6" or 5'7". They will also be able to do the same. And is it a comfortable bike to sit on? Yeah, it is actually. The seat is narrow enough that if you're not wide in the leg, that you wouldn't be spread out. But it's not too narrow that you feel like you're going to slide off either side. The other thing that I'm not too keen on, although you should always ride with gloves, if you wasn't riding with gloves, the grips on the bike they're a little bit, they leave little indents in your hand. Okay. But who cares about grips? You're going to change the grips anyway. This is a custom 125 motorcycle. A custom 125 motorcycle says that at some point you're going to buy this bike as a CBT learner and you're going to go, I want different grips on it. I'm going to change my foot pegs, because that's why we ride custom motorcycles. But Sinnis have definitely done a fine job on this motorcycle. They've not skimped on it, and it's pretty and how it looks. So we can forgive the grips, because we'll spend 20 quid and change them, and we can forgive the finish here, because for £2,800 on the road, I think she's a fine looking motorcycle. Power, obviously on a CBT, you're allowed somewhere around 14 brake horsepower. The law says about 14 brake horsepower, or in kilowatts, I think it's 12 kilowatts. I'd have to double check that. We will put a link at the bottom to let you know what the law is exactly. Okay, this one comes a little bit under at 10 brake horsepower. But do we care about that? This isn't a race bike, is it? It doesn't need to be the top of the line. It doesn't need to have all the power, because you've chosen to ride a cruiser because you want to cruise, not go fast. So don't worry about the brake horsepower. Buy the bike for what it is, and that is a sleek looking, cheap, reasonably good quality motorcycle. I genuinely feel confident in it. It's comfortable, it's not aggressive, it's chilled out. The brakes are working. She is a little Sinnis 125. She's the perfect motorcycle for a new rider who likes Harley Davidsons and custom cruisers and doesn't have £4,000 or £5,000 to spend on a Yamaha or a Honda. And when you take into consideration the old 70s, 80s and 90s Japanese cruiser motorcycles, you could easily spend, especially because of the custom movement at the moment, you could easily spend on an old CR125 or the Yamaha, bollocks, I've forgotten the name of the Yamaha I'm on about. Nonetheless, you'll be spending £4 on a second-hand bike.
Is it a drag start?
It's not that they do an XV125, the Yamaha, don't they? Yes, they do. You would be spending a fortune on one of those because of the movement. Whereas you can walk in 0 miles on the clock, brand new out of the box, and buy this cool little bike because the Chinese have decided to make these bikes and make them in this shape. And I mean, satin black open face crash helmet, black leather jacket, black boots, roll out. I'm that confident riding this bike. We're on private land right now, so I don't have to have a helmet and a jacket on. Although I would urge you all to ride your motorcycles all the time with your jackets, crash helmets and gloves on. I'm that confident in this bike that I don't feel the need to go and jump in my truck, get my crash helmet, get my jacket, get my gloves on, riding around this very small area. In some states in America, they don't have crash helmet laws. And I don't feel this bike's gonna fall over on me. I don't feel that it's suddenly gonna lose control or something's gonna snap or break on me. It is a Chinese motorcycle, but there is definitely an element that Sinnis have built their build quality up, and they're really working hard to build their build quality up. As a company, yeah, I would recommend you to buy a Sinnis motorcycle if you don't have a lot of money and you want a nice bike brand new out of the box. Absolutely. As long as you service it regularly. You're going to have to look after it, you're going to have to service it. But when you consider the service costs of it, on a Sinnis, if this broke here, it's probably going to cost you 30 quid to replace it. The whole thing. Like, it's not a lot of money. They're building bikes and they're affordable. They're affordable for young people. They're affordable not just for young people, but for the new motorcyclist. You get your 40, 50-year-old boys and girls out there that want to come and ride their bikes. They want a Harley, they've never ridden before. They want a 125, they're going to buy this. And the different colours you can get. That yellow and black paintwork over there is absolutely fantastic. The only thing they've let themselves down for on the yellow and black one is the white pinstriping they put round. And because of the cost of the bike, they're not going to pay an artist to pinstripe it in. So they've used white sticky tape, which is absolutely acceptable for the level of machine that this is. But they've left a gap, a bloody gap here. Sinnis, you've let yourself down on this one. You should have made sure that butted up tight, okay?